We are getting closer and closer to the end of OTAs. Here is the 8th day of OTA practice for the New York Giants. Let's go. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 squad? Welcome back into another video, and we're going to be talking about the 8th day of OTA practice. But want to quickly thank you guys for all the support you guys have shown me on the channel, especially in these past couple of months covering OTAs, the Tyrone Tracy video, and especially the draft and the whole process. You guys have shown me endless amount of support, so I want to thank you guys. And I'm also working on another project, another short documentary. So you guys, if you guys haven't already, subscribe, like the video, keep the engagement going, and also consider joining the channel membership. Right now, there is no exact perks for it, but with these short documentaries that I work on, it takes me a long time to do, and there is always the chance of getting copyrighted because it's heavily edited. A lot of B-roll goes into it, a lot of different films, different things that I put into the video that could get copyrighted, so this kind of helps with that. But in no way am I demanding it at all. It's just if you guys want to help support the channel, 100% of everything that is made as far as the channel membership goes on YouTube goes directly into the channel as far as compensating for short documentaries and copyrights and stuff like that. I just fought a copyright for the Tyrone Tracy video. I won, but it's not necessarily a guaranteed win every single time I upload a short documentary. But I'm not telling you guys who it is yet. I'm gonna wait till it comes out for you guys to know. It's gonna take a couple of weeks with the process, with the gathering information, the filming, the editing, and then the B-roll and stuff like that. So I'm anxious to get started. So if you guys, like I said, if you guys want to help support the channel, of course, just watching the video does enough. Liking, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff. But if you guys want to do something extra, consider joining the channel membership in the description below. $5 a month. Alright, so let's get into these OTA practices. Again, we don't have a lot of B-roll to look at. We've got one big highlight from Daniel Jones, but that's pretty much it. As far as the touchdowns go, we have both the articles today, so we can talk about that. As far as the touchdowns go today, Nathan Rourke had the lone touchdown to a receiver by the name of Dennis Houston. I think this is with the development team. There's a developmental group where it's just like compiled of a bunch of roster bubble guys, undrafted free agents, things like that, and I think this is where the touchdown came from. So Nathan Rourke unleashed a deep ball of 40 yards in the air, which wide receiver Dennis Houston was able to come down with impressive
Jesus Christ
fashion right around the goal line. Now, there is a reason for the lack of touchdowns. The Giants had their practice at the offense owned 20-yard line and the 50-yard line, so they had a lot of field to try to get down the field. So they were kind of working in their own territory. Now, in the last two OTA practices, the defense really shut things down on the offense. Now, the wide receivers still got their wins, but the defense had a lot of pass breakups, a couple of interceptions. This time around, the offense were absolutely clean, and they were just moving on the defense at will. There were no turnovers by the offense. However, Deonte Banks continues to be that lone, key piece on that defense, on the secondary, as, again, this is the 8th practice now. I've said it every single practice he's mentioned. The 8th practice, Deonte Banks has been showing up. He had a big pass defense on 7-on-7 on, I don't know who it was on, but it was a deep ball, and he was able to knock it away on 7-on-7s. And then on the 11-on-11 drills, he was able to get 2 more incomplete passes. So Deonte Banks, again, the rest of the defense were kind of like Swiss cheese. That's what it seems like from these articles, that the offense were just dotting the defense, but it doesn't seem like it was on Deonte Banks. He was on an island over there. Now, the big play of the day came from Daniel Jones hitting Isaiah Hodgins on a 50-yard pass. This was on 7-on-7 drills, as Daniel Jones is still not clear for 11-on-11 practice and still not clear with that torn ACL. And I don't know if the neck is any part of his injuries right now, but like I said, we're probably not going to see him participate in any 11-on-11 drills going into training camp and things like that until he's 100% cleared to play. Now, there were probably two really big standouts today on offense, one being Theo Johnson, the rookie tight end we drafted out of Penn State. He caught a pass from Drew Lock up the seam that gained about 20 yards or so in a tight window, and he's someone that's been continuing to impress as OTAs go on. As you guys know, we've clowned Darren Waller a couple of times, especially after releasing his new music video.
How are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
But it really just seems like he is on his way out the door. It seems like he is going to retire. That's what a lot of people around the New York Giants facility is saying. It hasn't come from Darren Waller's mouth yet, but it really seems like, from everything that I'm reading, Darren Waller is going to retire, and the Giants will actually be able to save some money. So if they want to go ahead and probably get another cornerback to play that outside corner spot, if Cordell Flott doesn't really work out, or maybe they just want to put someone there instead, they can do that. Now, it says here, Theo Johnson continues to be involved in the aerial attack, catching multiple passes from all over the field. He looks like an athlete that put up ridiculous testing numbers at the NFL Combine. What sets him apart, however, is his size to go along with his speed. He has a wide frame and a huge catch radius that allows him to make catches against smaller defenders and makes him an easy target for quarterbacks. Now, Theo Johnson definitely is an athletic freak for his size and position. Now, there are a couple of RAS scores, if you guys don't know, relative athletic scores, that kind of really measures out how athletic or how explosive a player could be at their set position based on their height, weight measurements, and, you know, percentiles and things like that. There are a couple of RAS scores for Theo Johnson that I don't know which one is exactly correct. There's a couple of them floating around. There's one at 9.93, there's one at 9.98, and there's also one at a perfect 10. So don't really know which one is completely accurate. But either way, he is one of the most athletic tight ends at his position based on his size, and he has great speed to go along with it. He is definitely going to be somebody that is going to have that Darren Waller type role in the Giants offense. Not to say that he is going to be Darren Waller, but they're going to utilize him very, very similarly. And the second player that had a really good day today was Drew Lock. Drew Lock had a couple of explosive plays today, one going to Bryce Ford-Wheaton, who we're going to talk about in a second, and another to Allen Robinson on both 30-plus yard gains. A couple of other receivers he hit for big gains were Dennis Houston and Chris Manhertz. Now, trust me, I know I am with Daniel Jones. I am rooting for him. I'm hoping that he performs well. I'm not sitting here saying his job is in jeopardy at all. Even Drew Lock said it. He is the backup. I've said this from the beginning. He's never been competition. He is a true backup. Only reason why I'm actually happy seeing Drew Lock perform well is that I really am concerned about Daniel Jones' health. I don't know how well he's going to be off his torn ACL, and he's had neck issues for a long time now, going back to early in his career where he sustained a lot of injuries and a lot of, wear and tear to his neck. Drew Lock coming in and absolutely lighting it up gives me the confidence that if Daniel Jones were to go down, Drew Lock could come in and it's going to be fine. He is going to play, just as good. Now, we're going to be talking about these two receivers who I told you guys to keep an eye on, and now they're mentioned back-to-back in the same article. I told you guys that these two receivers, watch out for them, man. They might be sneaky guys to make this roster. I don't know how they'll do it because the Giants have a loaded wide receiving core this season, and you're looking at a guy like Isaiah McKenzie possibly being the odd man out, or even an Allen Robinson. If they feel very excited about a young player like Bryce Ford-Wheaton, you might see a guy like Allen Robinson back on the market for a guy like Bryce Ford-Wheaton. So let's start with BFW. It says Bryce Ford-Wheaton continues to impress on his way back from a season-ending knee injury last year. He has the speed to create separation, but he also has the frame to make plays against smaller defenders. He caught a number of passes throughout practice, including a deep ball down the middle of the field. He also came up with a back shoulder throw later in practice. Now, if you watch Wheaton back in college, he is your typical West Virginia wide receiver. A lot of height and a lot of speed. That's something you've seen constantly, time and time again, from West Virginia receivers. Now, you can go back all the way back to, Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin didn't really have the height, but he had immense speed. You can go back to Kevin White. I know he was a draft bust back in 2015, but still same type of receiver. But Bryce Ford-Wheaton is that outside receiver that can definitely take the top off. Think of like a Darius Slayton, but just a bit taller. I think he has a skill set that could be used for our offense. Not much of a route runner, to be honest with you, but definitely has the ability to stretch the field. The receiver that I really liked is Ayer Asante. If you guys haven't watched him, I know this is a name we should never say in the Giants world again, but Kadarius Toney, when the ball is in Ayer Asante's hands, it really reminds me of Kadarius Toney. He doesn't have necessarily the exact talent that Kadarius Toney has, but Ayer Asante definitely has some moves. He's more of a slot receiver, but he looks like he plays tough, as he made a tough catch, plucking it out the air just before it hit the ground. Now, if it was up to me and you decide to keep a receiver, I'd say the better receiver is Bryce Ford-Wheaton, but the Giants do have a decent amount of outside guys. You got Jalen Hyatt, you've got Malik Neighbors, you got Darius Slayton, you've got Allen Robinson. Now, you could decide to cut a guy like Allen Robinson, but he's pretty damn good. I don't know why you would want to do that over Bryce Ford-Wheaton. I would probably keep Ayer Asante if I had to. I think the better receiver is Bryce Ford-Wheaton, but if we're trying to get all of these guys on the field and try to utilize everyone to the best of their ability, Ayer Asante's skill set would probably be utilized a lot more. The Giants like to target the slot a lot, and there's not much depth behind Wan'Dale Robinson and Isaiah McKenzie, who are probably the only slot receivers we have on the roster. Ayer Asante will come in as a third slot receiver we can keep on the practice squad should we need a guy like him. But if they can find a way to keep both of them on the team and one of them on the practice squad, one of them on the active roster, that would be pretty cool too. Brian Burns is getting in the backfield again. This is something that is kind of old news at this point. He's been doing it all OTAs. I'm just glad they mentioned it to keep it in our minds that Brian Burns is still dominating. Same thing with Dexter Lawrence. He gets another nod here as Darius Muasau. I really didn't expect myself to see his name mentioned this much. I really thought he was going to be a special teams type player. You turn on the tape, he kind of reminds me of a Micah McFadden-esque type player who is an undersized, sort of bigger built linebacker, but is undersized and just throws himself at the ball carriers and has good pursuit angles and very underrated pass coverage. Very much reminds me of Micah McFadden. Boogie Basham likely would have had a sack. Darnay Holmes and Elijah Riley, the new safety the Giants picked up, also recorded a pass breakup, along with defensive lineman Casey Rogers, who batted a ball at the line of scrimmage, and Carter Coughlin sniffed out a screen and stopped the play for no gain, which is exactly what Micah McFadden did yesterday. So that is it. That is the practice for you guys. The Giants will be back. They'll be off on Wednesday. It's crazy because they're off on the same day I'm off of my actual job. So that sucks because I would love to cover them when I'm off. But they'll be back on Thursday, and I think they're finishing out on Friday. They will be the last practice will be on Friday, and we will head into mandatory minicamp. Hopefully, I'm able to cover it the same way I'm able to cover these OTAs heading into training camp. And then we've got Hard Knocks, man. I'm very excited for that. So that being said, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, I will be working on that short doc. Probably tomorrow, I'll start gathering all my information on it and research. And then we'll get into the recording process, and it's going to be pretty fun. So that being said, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!